Welcome, all you patrons. Here we are again with another pre-show. Gather round.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And don't they look lovely in their spring clothes? I mean, that one gentleman, the lady there is wearing a tulip, a bright yellow tulip, and her gentleman friend is wearing a bright red rose.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, it's down where the lilies grow or something. I forget. Anyhow, whatever it is, they're obviously in a world of their own. A new world somewhere they call the promised land. And they will get there together if she will take his hand.
Okay, you're suspect now. You're on
What?
notice. You're on notice.
About what?
I sense lyrics.
Lyrics?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. If they gave him a fortune, his pleasure would be small. He could lose it all tomorrow and never care at all. But if he should lose her love, he doesn't know what he'd do. Because he knows he'd never find another her.
Yeah. You call me up again just to break me like a promise. So
No!
Casually cruel in the name of being honest. I'm a crumpled up piece of paper lying here. Because I remember it all too well.
Oh, yeah?
You like that? I can do that too. I can do it with the best of it.
Okay, all right, fine. You know what, smart guy? You know, you got a lot of nerve bringing this up. You know why? Because in 1902, dear old Seth Davey died, and his voice it was heard no more. The three wooden puppets ended up in a bed, and the plague mended someone's back door.
Charles, what you have to understand is that Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes. You say sorry just for show. You live like that. You live with ghosts. And now we got bad blood.
You know, I missed the Saturday dance. I heard they crowded the floor, but I couldn't bear it without her. I don't get around much anymore.
Oh,
we can do this all night.
This is fun. Yeah, all right, but we've got.
No, it's you know, a little bit you, a little bit me. Where's Bobby Sherman now that we need him?
I'm a little bit of country, and you're a little bit of rock and roll.
That is sad. That is really, really sad. Gosh, you know, I was born in the summer of my 27th year. All right, enough color. We're coming Rocky Mountain High.
All right, yeah, we have a lot of questions. We got a lot of catch up to do. Thank you all for all you patrons. You guys were so nice. I was actually really insecure about the video quality last episode, and just everybody was just so nice. It felt great. So thank you for tolerating the poor quality last week. But I thought it was a good show. Beyond that, it was really funny. You were in rare form, Charles. So
well, you know, now that I mean, filming in Studio X on the 13th floor has its benefits and its downsides. The benefits are that we can actually have a cup of coffee together, eat donuts, you know, and you reproduce the old studio perfectly. The problem is, though, that and being on the 13th floor, I can access it directly from here, and you can enter directly from where you are. The downside, of course, is the time-space continuum fraction that, you know, what it does to the instruments.
Yeah, it's complicated. It
is interesting though, being able to directly access the studio from here.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why. I mean, it was worth giving it the good old college try, right?
I thought so, but I even if I could remember where it was, I don't think I'm going to use the portal again.
Yeah, it's risky business.
That's for sure. But see, that's what we're willing to do to bring high quality broadcasting and programming to our patrons and our regular fans.
We
are willing to stretch the space-time continuum just to bring them entertainment and education.
I was gonna save this for the memes production, but one of the comments from Luna Lovecraft, she's a long time
Little Lovecraft. I love the name.
Yeah. She says the 13th floor is really starting to creep me out. And she's been watching for like years since the beginning. It's funny that she should say that like just now, like suddenly just now, something happened. We're finally just starting to get creeped out.
We filmed from it.
I guess so.
You know, you get a little view of what lies beyond the entrance to the 13th floor, and you get creeped out. I understand that. I'd understand even more if I could remember anything.
Sure.
I take it was a good episode, though.
I thought it was pretty good.
Good. I wish I remembered it.
All right. Let's
what
start.
What were we talking about?
Question from Connor. So Connor says, hello, Vincent and Charles. First, may I wish the two of you a wonderful April Fool's Day. I must say that, boy, there's nothing quite like a wonderful New York-style pizza. Love it, love it, love it. And New Jersey is my favorite place in all the world.
Well, happy April Fool's Day to you, too.
Connor,
I'm pretty sure Connor is not entirely serious about his comments.
I thought he's the one who lit the powder keg on this thing.
Yeah. You know, Connor, we appreciate that you love New York and that you would do anything to live in the Paramus Mall. It's speaking of which, I learned something interesting about the Paramus Mall.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the home of one of the last Toys R Us stores in the entire country.
I thought there's a Toys R Us near me.
Not anymore.
Gosh, that's a shame. Toys R Us was such. I mean, that was like a part of my childhood where, like it's like just total like childhood fantasy. Nickelodeon used to do this contest where someone like if you win the contest, you get, I don't know, a couple minutes where you have a shopping cart and you can go through Toys R Us and you can get anything you want for it, but you have to put it all in the shopping cart and you have to come back to the checkout in time.
Well, see, the problem is that all sorts of things that cater to children are going downhill. Can you guess why?
Because traditional gender roles? Or what? I don't know. What?
Fewer children.
Oh. You know, I've been thinking about that too, because just there's so many people, there's so many acquaintances I know where everyone is so fanatical about dogs.
We are, because they don't have any kids.
And you know, I love dogs. You know, I've had dogs, but like the attitude toward dogs now is such that it makes me not want to like dogs anymore. Like
look, it's taking the place of children.
Exactly. But you know, I've wanted to tell these people this, but I know I can't. But like, it's a weird thing, you know?
Well, and also, I think that having dogs is the best thing for children, for kids, having pets, because it teaches them responsibility. I mean, it's just a good thing to have pets and to have dogs in particular. But to have them replace children is very unhealthy. I remember your own Doug the Wonder Dog.
Yeah, I love Doug. Yeah, he's a good dog. Sheepdog. You know why, like in Babe.
You know why it was a wonder dog?
Why is he a wonder dog?
He played chess with his tail.
Wow. Anyhow.
You could set up a chessboard and you would play your part and he'd play it, but he'd push the things around with his tail.
I know, incredible.
That's why they called him Doug the Wonder Dog.
All right.
You don't remember that, do you?
I don't remember that. It's strange. I must have been on the 13th floor at the time.
Or else he and I were playing on the 13th floor.
All right. So Connor goes on to say, there are a couple of newly released books by the critically acclaimed author Oswald Dupree that I wanted to see if Charles has read. They seem similar to some of yours, so I wanted to see if you had any commentary or would care to share your favorite part of the books. Number one, what do you think of Maple Leaf President, where Canada undergoes a time of upheaval and becomes a spiritual but not religious republic, with a president that is imported from America? I'd be curious to know your thoughts or highlights of the book. Charles?
Great book to burn.
Oh.
Like anything else that comes from the pen of my self-appointed rival, Oswald Dupree. I don't want to say he's a no-talent bum, because it would be a disservice for no-talent bums everywhere. But suffice to say that he doesn't have a great deal of talent.
All right. In Carl Renner, the holiest politician of all time, what lessons do you think his story... What lessons do you think his story could provide to future politicians? I'm so glad that Tumblr has decided to publish these riveting books, make way for the groovy new author Oswald Dupree, and if you buy both of those books, you get free shipping and handling. Wow. So
Firstly, that's fake news.
A little bit of fake news. That's definitely Acme Publishing across the street publishes these books.
Yeah, they're little hot. But it's good to see that Oswald's finally gotten a job from an employer commensurate with his talents, or lack thereof. No, you want to stay away from anything Oswald writes. That man couldn't write his way out of a paper bag. And the sequin jumpsuit has got to go.
All right. Thank you for fun questions, Connor. We really appreciate it. Micah says, what was your MOS in the military and time in like? I asked because I'm a good old engineer in our glorious army.
Well, back in my day, ossifers didn't have no MOSs. They didn't have specialties. And if you were an armored cav officer, you were what was called a 1200 Charlie. Now that changed in 1983. And armored cav, like the other branches of armor, all became 19. I think I'm not sure, I don't remember, but I think straight tread armor was 19A, armored cav was 19C, attack helicopters, I don't remember what they changed it to. I think it was around 83 that they made the change. But in my day, the MOS was what enlisted men had. Officers had a different setup, and warrant officers had a different setup. I don't know what it's like now.
Right. Dwarf of Alexandria says, I lead the young adults group for a parish in San Francisco, Star of the Sea.
Hey!
Are you familiar?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
That's where the Latin Mass is.
Oh, nice. Good job, guys. And we're always eager to get people come speak and do good turnouts when we do. I wanted to check if there were any authors or other interesting Catholics living in the Bay Area that you'd recommend reaching out to. We'd be happy for them to advertise their wares to our bibliophiles. Thanks.
Well, there's Father McTagg, who's a Jesuit. He's in the Bay Area. It has a radio show. He's really good. Ignatius Press is up in that part of the world. You have a number of interesting churches up that way that you might consider the pastors of, just to talk about the beauties of the church, if nothing else. St. Dominic's of the Dominicans, the National Shrine of St. Francis, which is run, I think, by the Franciscan Conventuals. Notre Dame de Victoire, which is the French church. As far I used to know a number of writers. I still do. I know a few. Most of the ones I know are dead, but the few that are not Catholics. I couldn't really recommend them as being germane. Um, I'd certainly be happy to go up there anytime I'm back in California, especially if dinner at John's Grill is included.
What do you get at John's Grill?
What do I get at John's Grill? Well, I'll tell you. I would get several cocktails, probably Gibsons, maybe Manhattans, rye Manhattans. I would definitely get their French onion soup, and I would get a thick slab of steak. I love John's. It's got to be one of my favorite restaurants in the United States.
Wow, that's a statement.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, you've got your work cut out for you, Dwarf of Alexandria.
Yes, and I love the Bay Area. You know, despite the recent squalor and despite the demographic alterations, it's San Francisco is beautiful.
Yeah.
Berkeley has a sort of colonial Williamsburg for the 60s charm thing going for it. Telegraph Avenue, the Claremont. And, you know, not quite that far up, but as you know, the Monterey Peninsula is really my favorite part of the state. If I could live anywhere in California, anywhere at all, and money were not an object, I would live in the Monterey Peninsula.
I actually would too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your brother, you know, was up in PG for such a while. That was always fun going up to visit him there.
Yeah, that was good.
To this day, you ask him, Brian Feeney and I were at Mass at St. Angela's, and we heard this. I don't know. I think she must have been a little retarded or something. But this girl says to someone else, apropos of nothing in particular, I like pink. Pink is pretty.
Good.
That's what she said.
Yeah. All right.
Of course, the Monarch Sanctuary in Pacific Grove.
Yeah, the butterflies.
Something.
Yeah, the
butterflies, and the whale thing next to your brother's house. They had a
mailbox.
The whale box.
Yeah.
And we often thought about putting signs on it, but you know, your brother was considered to be nonconformist in the neighborhood, and suspicion would have fallen on him immediately.
Ah, gotcha.
Fandango.
What?
Fandango, my favorite restaurant in Pacific Grove.
Wow.
And in Carmel, you want to go to the Tuck Box for breakfast.
I wanted to go there because mutual friend Mr. Yelch recommended that too, but there is just no parking in Carmel to speak of. It's insane. It's actually stressful. You know, when like parking is so, you're searching everywhere and there's cars everywhere, and to the point where it's like you're stressed out. That's Carmel right now.
Well, I can understand. That's why you should park elsewhere and take a cab. But Flaherty's is another good place, the fish place in Carmel.
Nice. My favorite place that we tried. Well, so Steve took me to the whaling station, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then I really like. Oh my gosh, I forgot it. It's on the pier in Monterey. It's an Italian place. I don't know why I want to say Dante's, but it's not Dante's. That's in San Francisco.
They have several of them.
Cafe Fina. Cafe Fina.
Oh yeah.
That was really, really good. Lobster ravioli. Ooh.
And your brother's favorite pub, which is no longer, sadly, was called the Mucky Duck.
Oh, nice. That sounds pleasant.
It was. He forced me to drink there on several occasions.
I don't think anyone ever forced you to drink anywhere.
No, it's true. He did. He said, do you like your job with Tumbler House? I said, yeah. Do you want to keep it? I said, yes. Then you better have that third cocktail, oughtn't you? I said, well, okay.
What a story. Yeah, okay. They forced you
You
against your
did.
will to drink that third
Yeah.
cocktail, Charles.
Yeah. Yeah. Then when I finished, she said, did you like that? I said, yeah, it was good. He said, don't you think you should have another one? I said, I don't know. And he said, are you sure you want to keep your job? And I said, well, yeah. He said, well, if I were you, I'd order a fourth. So I said, okay. But I'm doing it under protest. And he said, duly noted.
Wow.
He didn't seem impressed, however, by my protest.
All right.
See, you never intervened decisively in my life like that, the way your older brother used to.
Oh. All right. Question from Sandra, who says, "My question." What?
Don't you think you should have a steak instead of a salad, Charles? But really, all I wanted was a little salad with a little oil and vinegar. Yeah, that's nice. I think you should have that big steak, the New York strip with the loaded baked potato. That would be better for you, I think. Are you sure, Steve? Yes. See, he guided me. He offered guidance in ways you never have.
Well, that'd be weird if I guided you. You're a little bit older than me, and I
Well, that's
respect your
true.
decisions.
That's true, but he never did. And so when I just want to have mineral water and a couple of lettuce leaves, magically they would turn into cocktails and steaks and onion soup.
Starting to learn more about you after 30 years, Charles. So yeah, so if people who are respectful to you, you just walk all over them. What you're really looking for from friends is abuse.
No.
You just basically said that.
I'd be living, listen, if it weren't for people like your brother, I'd have had a clean vegan lifestyle. But I was forced into this. You think I like hanging out at old steakhouses with buzzing neon signs? No, I wanted to go to fern bars.
All right, let's move along. Just move along.
You seem very incredulous. Has it ever occurred to you that there's a spirit of disbelief in the younger generation?
All right.
That incredulity that you're demonstrating does not look good on you. I'm just saying.
All right. Sandra says, my question for Charles is, why does he not let it be known that one of his people's French-Canadian immigrants to the United States claim to fame was having one of their own be a participant in the raising of the flag at Iwo Jima? Why are you hiding this, Charles?
I wasn't
Why won't you let it be known?
Well,
What else don't we know?
That the French Canadians are the noblest people ever to sanctify the earth with their presence. I've been sitting on this. I figure it's something people should learn entirely on their own. I don't believe in force feeding essential information.
Okay.
I don't know what she wants me to say. I really don't. I mean, French Canadians, it was a French Canadian lady who wrote Peyton Place. I guess I've been hiding that too. Shall I go through all the wonderful things we've done? Robert Goulet was French Canadian, and I've hidden this from the world. John Doucette, Sr., who played Lucian Truscott in Patton, he was French Canadian, and I haven't revealed this to anyone. I mean, I don't know. Claire Chanot, who led the Flying Tigers against the Japanese in China during World War II, he was French Canadian. I mean, there's so much information I'm just sitting on and not revealing to the world. I don't know what you want out of me, Sandra.
I'm sorry. This is.
I could go on in great detail. It was. Why have I concealed the fact that it was the French Canadians that first started putting milk in tea? And the occupation soldiers, the British, brought it back to Britain and went throughout the British Empire. Okay, I'm hiding this stuff. Why haven't I revealed the fact that the Feast of the Holy Family originated in Quebec? That's where it started. True story. Why am I sitting on this? Why am I suppressing this information? I don't know. I'm completely at a loss. I have no idea what's motivating me at this. I mean, why haven't I said that there are still Acadians in Nova Scotia because they were close to Quebec and they were able to go there and then come back after the coast was clear? What does she want out of me? I don't know what to say. I mean, okay. Why have I concealed the fact that the Mississippi River was first navigated upstream by French Canadians? Why have I not told everyone that if it hadn't been Louis Charbonneau, their French Canadian guide, Lewis and Clark would never have gotten anywhere? Why am I hiding this stuff? I don't know. I have no idea.
Great question, Sandra.
Why haven't I revealed that Trader Joe was founded by my cousin Joseph Coulombe? Why have I not said this?
Okay, that's actually I feel like that's not really legitimate. Wait, what?
All true. Everything I've said is true.
Wait, Trader Joe's is a Coulombe that's related to you?
All Coulombes are related to me, but yes.
Wow. Do you shop at Trader Joe's?
Not here, I don't. I do when I'm back there. He sold it a long time ago. He founded it, and then he sold it. Joseph Coulombe, Trader Joe, was the kind of guy that liked to found things, really get them going, and then move on. And he, in his lifetime, he founded and brought to what's the word I want? Success. 2 or 3 chains. And with Trader Joe's, I forget the exact story, but he was running a group of retail stores for some chain. I forget what they were, or markets. But he figured he could do a better job, so he bought them or acquired them. I don't remember the details. But he turned them into the specialty shops that we know of. And he literally would go all over the world to find weird deals. I remember when they had this delicious cream of reindeer soup from Finland that, oh man, it was just great. But that was typical of the kind of stuff he would get.
Wow. You definitely been sitting on that.
How come? Why have I refused to reveal it? He died about 2 years ago. Now 3 years ago. I was already here. It's interesting. His grandfather came down from Canada. He was born in California. His grandfather came down from Canada and actually went to Norwich in Vermont, the military college that my cousin Eugene Latroile went to. So he wasn't the only one of us. But he married an Anglo lady and moved to California, and their son was born out there, and then Trader Joe was born out in California. So he was just a quarter French Canadian, but it was the quarter that put us in touch, as you might say. My father knew him much better than I did. I only met him a couple times. My father knew him to talk to fairly frequently.
Through what venue?
Well, there's a thing called a phone. And they met several times.
Wow. Okay.
And the funny thing is, when I was in the National Guard and I had Coulombe on my uniform, our armory in Redlands had a Trader Joe's close by. So whenever I would go into that Trader Joe's with Coulombe on my uniform, because he still owned it then, they'd fall all over themselves, the employees.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Um, well, thank you for that question, Sandra. We sort of unearthed more um, interesting
Col-
factoids from Charles with that question.
Colombiana. It was, in fact, where at that Trader Joe's in Redlands, because there's an old custom in the Armored Cav to drink a lighted drink. And one of my best cronies from high school had become a cadet at West Point. And so we went out one weekend with the unit. He came over and we went out, but for a weekend drill at the Armory. Well, when the drill was over, we stayed in the Armory overnight. And for reasons that I don't really remember, he bought at that Trader Joe's a bottle of Yukon Jack and 2 quarts of chocolate milk.
Hmm.
And he drank both of them. And he got so sick. So I can tell you that Yukon Jack and chocolate milk are not a good mix.
Wow.
True tales of the 1980s.
All right.
You know what we used to
Layla.
say back then?
What?
You know what we used to say back then?
What? What did you used to say?
Sleep well, America. Your National Guard does.
All right. All right. Question from superfan Layla, who says, "Can you point me to a show, or a list, or a source for fictional books? Another son who, at the age of 25, should be past all this nonsense, is giving her much argument about reading. He wants to read Dune. She's suggesting Tolkien, Lewis. He had read the first book of the Lewis trilogy, but at a slow pace, not allowing himself to enter into the novel. I'm actually literally reading Dune right now. I just started it. I was in the bookstore and I was browsing the sci-fi, and I was like, you know what? It's about time I read Dune. I know Edward Habsburg, the Archduke, likes it a lot.
I read it when I was in high school.
You like it? Recommendation?
Well, yeah, it was well written. I enjoyed it, but
Some weird
you
stuff.
know, yeah, it's fairly weird. It's set in the future, and of course, the freeman that young Atreides finds himself among are descendants of what are called the Zen Sunni wanderers, who are apparently a mixture of Zen and Sunni Muslim. Religion plays a big part in the thing, but not the way you might guess. And the Spacing Guild, who are the people that will make it possible to travel through space by bending reality with their minds, always remind me of the Supreme Court.
Ah.
Able to bend reality with their minds.
Nice. All right.
But
So,
to
yeah.
answer your question, these aren't the kinds of things you can really force. You know, you might recommend a canticle for Leibowitz, and you might also recommend the works of Anthony Boucher, Boucher. Those would be good.
All right.
Oh, and of course, Tim Powers, Timpowers, who is not only a very good science fiction / fantasy writer living today, he's a trad. And you know where he goes to mass?
What? The by Star of the Sea, San Francisco? No. Oh, okay.
No. He's in SoCal, where your brother was married.
He goes to Guasti?
Yep.
Steve never said he's seen him.
I don't know if he would know what he looks like.
That's wild.
Isn't that strange?
Small world.
And did you know that under the American regime, the 5th mayor of Los Angeles was a French Canadian named Remy Nadeau?
Yes. All
Did you
right.
know that I've been suppressing that information until this very moment?
I was about to ask you about that.
I thought you might.
All right. This is so... All right.
You realize every week now we're going to have a fact about French Canadians revealed.
It's true. All right. Some questions from Rob to finish off the pre-show. Superfan Rob.
Okay. All right.
Greetings and salutations to Monsieur Charles Labor and to Don Vincenzo, management.
Hey! This guy knows.
Yeah. Oh, he knows.
Did you know that chowder originally came to New England from the French?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Good job, guys.
Yeah, we
well
think
done.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why you like it so much.
Well, that and tourtière, the meat pie.
Yeah.
And creton, the ground meat sort of spread on toast. Creton. It's very good.
Nice.
Also, we do better things with maple leaf, with maple syrup than the New England Yankees. And we invented a health food that nobody's really aware of down here or down there.
What?
A health food that's guaranteed to be good for your heart and your circulation and so on.
Poutine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all got organic, non-fat, gluten-free, etc., lactose intolerant, French fried potatoes, brown gravy, cheese, and various other goodies.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So Rob says, I have two unrelated topics I'd like to seek your opinions on. The first may be sensitive and therefore may be better suited for the pre-show. However, I defer to the Honorable Don's judgment. So here we are. I recently have begun reading Butler's Lives of the Saints as part of my daily regimen. The first entry was for Saint Simon, child martyr, for March 24th, who is apparently also known as Saint Simon or Saint Simeon of Trent. The story of this child's martyrdom seemed a little too on the nose to me. It reminded me of two other works to which I had the same response: AA 1025 and the Permanent Instructions of the Alta Vendita. I am interested in both your opinions as to these works. Is there any corroborating evidence of any of the three works? Stylistically, both as an historian and writer and as a publisher editor, do these seem plausible? I'd be interested to hear any other corridors your minds go down that I haven't thought of.
Well, firstly, regardless of anything else, St. Simon of Trent, Little St. Hugh of Lincoln, and the other martyrs of that sort were certainly killed by somebody. Now, the common belief at the time was that they had been killed by Jews as part of some sort of strange blood ritual, which, like most other people, I disregarded. However, it was a Jewish friend of mine by the name of Michael Kramer in LA who came to me one day and we were talking about the so-called blood libel, and he thought that there might be something to it. And after I pulled myself back out of my chair, I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, not that it's a typical part of Jewish worship, obviously, but," he said, "think back to some of the weird Christian sects that you had in the Middle Ages that did very peculiar things, the Cathars and people like that." He said, now he had studied a lot of interesting and alternative Jewish mysticism. He said that he could imagine there could have been some bizarre group that would have done something like that through a misinterpretation, a mal-reading of Judaism, Jewish heretics, if you will. Remember that with our Cathars and people of that sort, they so twisted the faith that they made suicide virtuous, as well as homosexuality. So if you could imagine Christian offshoots doing that, it's possible the Jewish offshoots might have done, especially because there was no central authority amongst the Jews to do anything about anything. So I hadn't thought of that, but it especially given the era, maybe, who knows? Lord knows when both St. Hugh of Lincoln and St. Simon of Trent were killed, there were a ton of weird sects amongst the Christians. So it wouldn't be too surprising if there were a ton of them among the Jews as well. As far as the Alta Vendita, which is a claim of a conspiracy by a Freemasonic organization, and AA, whatever the numbers were, Confessions of an Anti-Apostle. Who knows? I mean, I knew a lady who claimed to have direct contact with the anti-apostle. I have no reason to think she would have lied. But regardless of whether or not they're literally true, certainly a lot of the things they predicted would happen have happened. Or to put this another way, had the seminaries been penetrated by Masons and communists, they couldn't have done a better job of turning out the direct they turned out and putting us where we are. So whether or not they're literally true, I doubt I'll know this side of the grave. But certainly they do provide an explanation for what's happened to us, at least partly. I think that it's a little too simple to ascribe everything to this or that conspiracy, though. I'm sure the Reds were doing their bit to infiltrate the seminaries because they did that with a lot of other things. Same with our Masonic friends. How successful they were, how much clout they really had, who knows? But as I say, we'll find out when we're dead.
The blood libel is fascinating. Quick Wikipedia search. The first sentence says it's a false accusation.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what we're always told. And had it not been for Mike Kramer, my mind would not have gone into other areas.
Okay. Oh, that AA 1025. I do sort of believe that. That's that was published by Tan, who I tend to feel like Tan is a publisher to be trusted, definitely, and that's a very old and very famous book too. So
it is. I'm trying to remember the name of the lady.
Marie Curie.
No, that's the name of the author.
Oh, the author. Oh, okay. I do not know. Is it the? It's not Bella Dodd, right?
Bella Dodd. That's what I was.
Oh, okay. Angelico Press has a book on that too, which is a very high selling book. That's how I know that one. Okay, yeah, Bella Dodd.
Bella Dodd. It was unforgettable. Bella Dodd. You know who else was in touch with Bella Dodd? Oddly enough.
Who?
I believe Bill Biersack's father.
All right. All right. Next question from Rob. He says a nearby city has an annual festival of French food, music, culture, etc. For Bastille Day. I am looking forward to attending for the food, music, and culture, but not so much to honor the day that touched off the horrific revolution. Is there anything you would suggest I can do to attend while showing my support for the murdered king? Thought of wearing something white for the Bourbons, but suspect I would be the only person there who had any idea what that was all about. Perhaps a Vive le Roi t-shirt.
Vive le Roi.
Wow.
Yeah, I think you might do that. You might do that.
When's Bastille Day? Did I miss it?
No, it's July 14th.
Oh,
You've
okay.
got time.
We've got time.
You got time. But right. Usually things in LA commemorating it with wine and food and cheese and garlic and Dead bunnies.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Dead bunnies?
Yeah.
You like with the rabbit's foot that grows back on the Easter bunny?
Yes, I like harvesting rabbits' feet.
Ooh, that's interesting. All right.
All right, that'll do it for this episode. But we have a lot of stuff on the full episode, so stay tuned.
We'll be here, so you'll be here too.